So tonight I drove 50 minutes to pick up what the guy believed was an 03 TTR 125 that allegedly just lost compression. I asked him if he opened the engine up. He said no. Couldn't tell in the pictures. He said no, just pulled the engine out to rebuild it, then lost interest. I get there, the story changed a little bit. He bought it this way. Anyway, it's dark, whatever. I make him an offer, he takes it. I paid $300 for it. Has a brand new front tire, back tire's pretty bad. Everything is here though. All the plastics, seat, exhaust. Anyway, I get it home and unload it. Head bolts are, loose. So, pretty certain he cracked the engine open, but I'm gonna pull the head off real quick and see the condition of what we got inside. See what I got myself into for $300. Not that I have any time to really do any of that. I have this four-wheeler that I'm working on, constantly working on dirt bikes. There's parts everywhere. But we're gonna pull apart this little TTR and see what we got. Well, the bolts were out of the cam cover. So I pop it off. Timing chain guide is jammed behind the cam sprocket. The bolt's loose on the cam sprocket. So yeah, this head they were definitely in this thing. They knew exactly, this kid knew exactly what he was telling me. He just didn't feel like telling me the truth apparently. So we'll see what we got. You can imagine my surprise by the fact that he told me it just lost compression and he didn't open it up. I pull it apart, pull the head off. Not only did it sit open for a while, there's no piston even in the thing. Missing a valve chain guide, missing chain guides. I'd hate to know what the bottom end looks like. I guess I'll have to split that too. So the bottom end feels halfway decent. Let me see if I can find the timing chain down in there. I'm guessing it's down in there somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. That's lovely. I can dig that up out, I guess. I should split this and see what we got going on, but the bearings feel okay. I'm half tempted to put a piston in it, see what we got. So I'm pulling this clutch cover off because the timing chain's jammed down in there. I can see it. Somebody tore this apart that had no business being inside one, but that's beyond the point. I still bought it. Sort of curious why there are marks from somebody hitting this. I'm gonna guess they had this flywheel nut off and were trying to beat the crap out of the flywheel to get it off. Yeah, it's hit on every side. That's not how it works, bud. This is a really simple concept. Anyway, I pulled it apart because that timing chain's stuck down there, so I'm gonna see if I can get it to unjam up. So I'm gonna put a spark plug in this head. I fill it up with water and see if the valves leak. I don't think they're gonna. I think, judging by the cylinder wall, the rings went bad. This is a kid's bike. Somebody banged it on the rev limiter too long. And some kid that had no business taking it apart took it apart, then panicked because he got in too deep on a 4-stroke and there's timing chains and he wasn't ready for it. And threw it back together halfway. I'm gonna have to pull that flywheel off to get the timing chain back up where it belongs. But for now, I'm gonna see if that head's bad. I wanna measure this cylinder and see if it's within spec to go half a mil or a full mil oversized. Yamaha has the half mil oversized in stock, so if we're within spec and I think it can be cleaned up, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, this thing definitely didn't just lose compression. It got hot and melted down. have some snap gauges. Well, that's not great. That's too big. E. D. $54 millimeters. $54 millimeters. $53.98. $53.98. I think the stock cylinder bore is 54 millimeters. And yeah, so I think this thing's savable. I mean, it's got some gouges in it, but nothing crazy. This is obviously a part one. I'm gonna get a piston and rings for this thing, and we're gonna be riding soon. Oh, we gotta fill the head up. See if it leaks by the valves. We'll go from there. Well, I know my purchase was at least worth $4 because it came with a brand new spark plug. So that's a win. All right, so I threaded a spark plug in it. I have it sitting on a socket and an extension to sit level. People do this with oil. I get that. But I'm comfortable doing it with water. We just let it sit and see if the exhaust and intake ports fill up with water. So far, it's looking pretty good. Nothing in the exhaust. No, I can't tell. Nothing in the intake. I'll let it sit for a little longer and see, but I think we're good. That doesn't mean, I'll still lap them just for good measure. Yeah, I think we might get away with just a slightly oversized piston and rings. And I mean, there's some strange things going on here. Like there's 2 clips on the sprocket, which I don't really understand. Maybe neither one's correct. And that's why that's there. I don't know. I don't know. But we're gonna dig into it. I don't feel like that's actually moving the clutch. And that certainly isn't. I don't know, there could be some more skeletons here, but we're gonna see what we get. So far, piston and rings, an oil fill plug. The clutch, I don't know, I'm not confident that it's functioning, so I'm gonna pull the Kickstarter off and the clutch cover and see if that clutch is working before I order piston and rings for it. Originally, I thought I was missing a timing chain guide, but I came back to my magical box of parts here. Found the timing chain guide, rocker covers, air box with bolts in it. That's cool. Got a plastic skid plate, rear mud flap, intake boot, piston mounts, carburetor. Looks like the choke's jammed in it. I don't know. Guess we'll see. But Like I said, I actually think it's all here somehow. So we'll see if we can get it going. Ah, no, it's not. I'm missing a front number plate. That's okay. And the throttle tube. Obviously grips. Throttle tube, front number plate. Choke cable's weird. Need both levers. This thing was torn the whole way apart. Yeah, kid. The ad lied. It wasn't quote unquote torn down because rings went bad. The rings did not go bad. Piston burn out of it. And I would say his garage isn't very dry. I think that'll shine up decently. His wheels. But he had this rim or this wheel apart. Well, at least off the bike. The tires, it is new. It has tits on it still, but it's flat. Yeah, I mean, I still think I did okay for 300 bucks. So this carburetor, the choke is seized in there. And these carbs that came on these, I think it was an emissions thing, government control. This diaphragm is not an accelerator pump, like you would hope. It's actually a fuel shutoff, and it works off vacuum. So it builds vacuum through airflow through the carb body, or the throat of the carburetor. When airflow quits, that diaphragm shuts and doesn't allow any more fuel through. Allegedly to stop backfire and or raw fuel getting to the engine. So yeah, carb's not great to begin with. Even though it is a Mikuni, I'm not gonna spend any time trying to get that clutch freed up, or that choke freed up, because I think I'm gonna put a different carburetor on it anyway. So, but that's that. At least it's in the box.